There was once an old golden retriever named Max who lived in a small wooden house at the edge of a quiet town. His fur had turned mostly white around the muzzle, and his once strong legs now moved slowly and carefully. But his eyes still held the same soft, hopeful light they had carried since he was a clumsy puppy. Every morning, long before the sun rose, Max would wake and make his way to the front door. He would sit there and wait for the sound of footsteps on the stairs, the soft jingle of keys, and the gentle voice that used to say, "Come on, boy, let's go for our walk." That voice belonged to a man named Thomas. Thomas had raised Max from the day he first opened his eyes. For 15 years they had been inseparable, walking the same path by the river, sharing quiet evenings on the porch, and sleeping side by side through long winter nights. One autumn afternoon, when the leaves were turning gold, Thomas put on his coat, knelt down, and held Max's face in both hands. "I'll be back before dark," he whispered. "You just wait for me." Max wagged his tail and watched him leave. The door closed. The hours passed. Night came, and then morning. Then another night. Thomas never returned. The neighbors later said there had been an accident on the highway. Max didn't understand the words. He only understood that the footsteps never came home. So he kept waiting. Day after day, Max sat by the door. When the seasons changed and the leaves fell, he still sat there. When snow covered the porch, he curled up against the cold wood and waited. The new people who moved into the house were kind. They fed him, brushed his thinning coat, and spoke to him gently. But Max never stopped watching that doorway. Years went by. Max grew slower and thinner. Some mornings he could barely stand, and the family would carry him to his favorite spot by the door. Still, he would rest his head on his paws and keep his ears tilted toward the road. One rainy evening, when the sky was the color of old steel, Max's breathing grew shallow. The family found him in his usual place, eyes half closed but still open just enough to watch the door. They sat with him, stroking his head and whispering that it was all right now, that he had waited long enough. Just before the last light left his eyes, Max's ears lifted, only a little, as if, somewhere far away, he finally heard the familiar footsteps coming home at last. And then the waiting was over. Max closed his eyes. The rain kept falling, and the old house, for the first time in a very long while, felt truly empty.